So here we go. I've been trying to explain you Guruji's system. Guruji's system meant for him, because the whole world knows Guruji's system meant for you and me. That is known as Iyengar system. Guruji was not practicing Iyengar system. It was meant for you and me, caught in mundane mire, mundane gravities. So therein, this delineated on the Dharma. Now I am briefly going to touch. When Guruji said, while I practice, I am a philosopher, what is meant by philosophy? Not he was becoming a philosopher like Aristotle and such, Plato, etc., and Indian philosophers. He was not becoming that kind of philosopher. There are so many philosophies, but when it comes to conduct of life, there is only one philosophy. If you know, there are so many Indian philosophies, 6 orthodox, 6 heterodox, and minor philosophies, minor cults. So philosophies are different and variegated. But when it comes to philosophy, conduct of life, it is one and the same. What is that? The life guided by 4 purusharthas: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So, Dharma we were discussing, and many of us have a problem. We don't understand what is our Dharma. A layman, it is not easy for a layman to understand because Dharma is very intriguing. So those who are in a mundane gravity and mundane life, we don't have time to inquire into, we don't have the caliber to inquire into what is Dharma, what is duty. As and when it dawns, you can go by duty-mindedness. But otherwise, Artha. Artha is to make the life meaningful. So in asanas, when Guruji was practicing, he saw that each of the systems are meaningful. Now you're all sitting. Is your body meaningful in your act? You want to hear what I say. You want to comprehend what I say. You want to understand what I say. Is the body propitious? Is it contributing in any way? It can only distract you. Little discomfort in the back, pain here and there, it can be discomforting you. Or at some point in time, you have a natural call. The body can create discomfort. The body is not arthapurna. That means it is not really functional. It is not purposeful. Now you require only your mind to be purposeful here. Because you want to hear what I say, comprehend what I say, understand what I say through your thought process. Is your breathing contributing for you to carry out the act of comprehension, audition, comprehension, thought process? Is the breath contributing? Not at all. So the breath doesn't have functional contribution. The body doesn't have functional contribution. Except the ears, other senses don't have contribution, significant contribution. Because you can close your eyes and hear me. So Artha means there is meaningfulness in you and all that is yours. Can you imagine you with nothing of yours? Can you imagine you with nothing of yours? Know your body, your body not there, your senses not there, your breath not there. Nothing of that is yours, your body, your mind, your breath, your senses, your psyche, your consciousness. If all the your things are expelled, are you there? Where is the you then? So when Guruji was doing his asanas, he saw that everything is purposeful for each other, purposeful for himself as well. He is useful for them. He is purposeful for all his aspects. They are purposeful, useful for each other. They are useful, purposeful for himself. This is only possible in asanas for you and me. When we do asanas, everything is purposeful. Now, our obsession is to do a correct pose, perfect pose, or comfortable pose. The pose should not hurt me, or the pose should do remedial work. So, where is the purpose served by you and yours and in you aspects? They should serve the purpose of each other. They should serve your purpose. You should serve their purpose. You have to serve the purpose of each other. That is possible in the scheme of asanas and scheme of pranayam for you and me. So he was taking care of that. Whereas most of us in physical culture dimension of asanas, we want to do correct pose, perfect pose, precise pose, faultless pose. We don't see whether it is contributing or not. We don't see whether it is purposeful or not. You want to do a correct and faultless pose. That was not Guruji's outlook while he was doing his practice. Whereas when we practice, we see that our purpose should be faultless. For what sake? For no purpose to serve, for no purpose to be served, should it be a perfect pose? Or for the purpose to be served, should it be a perfect pose? Or should it be more serving the purpose than being correct? In the sense, we have the parameters for a correct tadasana, correct shirshasana. What is the point? Correct tadasana, correct shirshasana, serving no purpose. Only serving the purpose of somebody to sight you, look at you and say, yes, you are aligned, you are in a perfect pose, you are in a faultless pose. That should be purpose served. The purpose serving is artha. Now, how much you and me are of some purpose to the world, and how much Guruji was of some purpose to the world. How many of us have the goal in life that we should be purposeful for the world? We do. That's not everybody's goal, that I should be purposeful for the whole humanity. But there are some people who are purposeful for whole humanity for generations to come. Even after they are gone, still they are purposeful for the world of humans. That is called Artha, Artha Purushartha. We should be purposeful. So we must have purpose in life, and we must be adhering to right means and measures to reach the goal, to reach the purpose. Don't just have a purpose and strike the purpose, get the purpose served by hook or crook. Then you will be really a big crook in the world. We don't want to be crooks in the world. That is Artha Purushartha. Having a purposeful aim in life, goal in life, and having suitable, compatible means and measures. The means and measures applied must be justifiable, must be acceptable, must be purposeful and functional. So the Artha Purushartha means you should not be anarthakari. Vernacular people should understand. What is anarthakari? If the human being doesn't have proper purpose in life, don't think it is only purposeless life. It is harmless to society, harmful to society. A useless person is not merely useless. Useless person is harmful to society. So you cannot be having a life which is benign, useless. Benign but useless. Uselessness means if you are useless, you are dangerous to the world. And therefore, one should aim at making the life useful, fruitful. Otherwise, our life is going to be definitely going on a negative track. So sometimes I said in the class, your child goes to school and child doesn't study at all. The teachers complain, others, friends, they complain that your son doesn't study at all in the school. Be sure that if the child is not studying in the school, it is doing without exception untoward things at school. It is definitely engaged in what it should not do. If the child goes to school but doesn't study at all, know that it is naughty, it is troubleshooter, it is problem maker. Don't just think the child doesn't study at all, goes to school but doesn't study. It certainly does something which is harmful, which is dangerous, which is problematic. So therefore, Guruji saw in asanas that each of the systems to which I often make reference in the classes, each of the system is propitious, is useful to others, other systems. You are useful to systems, systems are useful to you, and systems within themselves are useful to each other. So that care he was taking. That's why in vernacular we have a usage. If somebody has done something, you put a question in which is suggesting that it did not serve the purpose. काय अर्थ है? यात काय अर्थ है? त्यात काय अर्थ है? What does it mean? It is not only that it is meaningless, it is untowards. So human beings are tend to be harmful if they do not make their life purposeful, functional, useful. The human being is not going to be useless. Human being is going to be harmful. But suppose a cobra, croc, snake are useless. That means they are not adhering to their snakeness, cobraness, etc., etc. Where is the harm? There is no harm. The cobra is useless as cobra. That means it is not harming you. A lion is useless as a lion. It is not harming the other prey animals in the forest. But if human being is useless, he is harmful. Some humans are useless, they don't harm. Actually, they are for the safety of the others around them, safety for the world. So suppose all cobras on the planet are useless, all snakes are useless, all alligators and crocs are useless, all wild animals are useless. Our safety is assured. Human being is useless, everything is endangered. So that's how understand human life, but being useless, it amounts to what? So that was Artha Purushartha. Guruji was taking care to see that Arthatvam, Arthavatvam is there. Meaningfulness is there in what he does. He was not doing because he can do. He was not doing because he wanted to try or he wanted to get. He was doing all that he was doing for usefulness within the community within us and for himself. And he himself was useful to other systems, body system, mind system, breath system, speech system, psychic consciousness system, sense system, all the systems of which we are made up of. So he saw that he is useful to every system. Are you useful to your breath system now? Are you useful to your breath system now? Are you useful to your body system now? But suppose you take formal position, swastikasana, virasana, you sit. Your endeavor becomes a benefit to your anatomy. So in asanas, you have to see that the arthavatva radiation is there, purposefulness is radiated, and that he took care. That is why with Guru, someone like Guruji in their life, they become purposeful for the humanity, purposeful for the world, purposeful for the planet, the globe, even posthumously. What purpose are we going to serve posthumously? Tell me. You and me will die. If we die, what purpose is there for the world? Is the world is going to be sorrowed? Oh, the gem is gone. No, you and me are not gems. But the gem who leaves the world sorrows. The gem leaves, still the radiation of the gem continues. So life should become purposeful, not only during the lifetime. So someone like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Ramana Maharshi passed away, Gyaneshwar passed away, they are no longer there, yet they are serving the purpose. You and me pass away, what purpose is served, tell me? We are indeed worms and insects in the human world. We pass away, nobody is going to sorrow, nobody is going, perhaps people will gain. Oh, thank God, this person is gone. Arthavatvam. So in his practice, he was saying that everything has meaningful. That doesn't mean that he had only purpose to serve. He had right means applied. That is also part of Artha. Artha Shastra tells you how to achieve something in a rightful manner, righteous manner, proper manner. That is Artha. So in Guruji's practice, he took care of the Artha dimension of Purushartha. Kama is getting gratification, delight, happiness, contentment, etc. What is that long life having no contentment at all? There are many people whose life is woes of sorrow, woes and sorrows. Now, you can't say it's a successful life. So the positive things which you usually call as sukham, happiness, pleasure, delight, contentment, etc., should be turned out. So in his practice, he saw that he is a locus of contentment to all the systems. Each system is locus of contentment to each other system. Each system is locus of contentment to himself. So contentment exchange was taken care of. Kritakrutyata, dhanyata, these are apt vernacular words. So that gives that overall contentment in life. In some cases, the whole life is lack of contentment, dearth of contentment. That doesn't mean end of the life is contentment. If the life is full of discontent, end of the life is also going to be discontent. So ending the life, therefore, is not a solution to end the discontent in life. Discontent uh, should be uh, changed into contentment. So he was looking at that. So I sometimes explain to you, in asanas you get a duty exchange, right exchange, privilege exchange. Similarly, contentment exchange. You get contented because of you, they get contented. What is the point in getting contentment from you and you getting no contentment because of me, or you are getting discontent from me because of me? So this should not happen while we are in the world. We should radiate contentment. We should be locus of contentment, and the world should be giving contentment. Our life should give contentment, and life itself should be contented. So how the contentment exchange will be on rise. This is what he took care. And then moksha. For you and me, our mind is a problem to body. The body is problem to mind. Particularly if I put you in an asana, your body is certainly a problem to you. Is that right? I put you in a difficult asana. You say, body is a problem to me. So Guruji was taking care to see that he has freedom. The body has freedom. Mind has freedom. All the systems have freedom. So what is obliteration of problems because of freedom is a thing to be considered. And Guruji was taking care to see that when I do my practice, I am getting freedom, I am giving freedom to everything in me. Everything is in freedom when I do. Whereas if I put you in asana, you will say it's a contortion, I am not comfortable, body is not comfortable, nothing is comfortable. What, Bhuvanesh? Guruji once while teaching he had said this. Well, you will all think that I am putting in a teacher, you are all discomforted by doing my class. But yoga should be giving comfort, that is freedom. Comfort in the sense of freedom, nothing is under shackles, nothing is under affliction of anything within. So affliction free zone. Guruji, when he was practicing, he said, I am never tormented. But in his class, everyone was tormented. Why was that? I'm coming to that. When he said, when I practice, I am an artist. When I perform, I was an artist, but it implied when he taught, he was an artist. When he practiced, he was an artist. By art forming or the artisan in him, he was able to overcome the problems. He did not get caught into discomfort, tormentation, harassment. So if I put you into Viprita Shalbhasana or Shirsha Padasana, you will say, oh, utter discomfort. He took care to see that there is no discomfort and there is a freedom. So he was trying to get freedom in his positions. So he was also trying to go for the moksha concept. I am not going to delineate on it because I want you to ponder over these concepts and come back later. Then we will try to delineate. Anyway, so Guruji said, when I teach, I am a scientist. What is meant by scientist? Was he a Newton? Was he Archimedes? Was he Galileo? Was he that kind of scientist? Scientist means a scientific process. What is scientific process? Rationality, reasoning. All that he executed was based on reasoning, logic, intellectual rationalism. So that is being a scientist. If somebody, your teacher says, I am a scientist in teaching, so I will be experimenting on you. Will you like it? I will make you a skateboard and I will experiment on your spine. I will experiment on your hips. Will you like it? So what was meant when he said, I was scientist when I taught? That means he said when he was a scientist, he was saying that he was bringing perceptive cognitive faculties. They were kept on toes so that nothing should be unsighted. And he was perfectly logical. His teachings were based on reasoning. Intellectual rationality was there in his teachings. Analytical process and intellectual processes, they were involved in teaching. He could explain why he is teaching you in particular way. There was logical base, there was intellectual base, there was reasoning base while he was teaching. That is what he said. But when he was practicing, he was also a scientist. Why? Because he was taking care to see that he doesn't get derailed from wherever logic can be applied. Not everywhere logic can be applied, but wherever logic can be applied, he applied logic. Wherever reasoning can be applied, he was applying reasoning. Wherever intellectual process was to be applied, he was applying intellectual process. And that is why his practices became discerning. He developed conviction. In your practice, if you don't have this scientific approach, wherever logic can be applied, if you are not applying, wherever reasoning can be applied, if you are not applying, wherever perception has to be applied, you are not applying, wherever cognition has to be applied, you are not applying. If these things are not applied in your practices are blind. So if you want your practices to be discerning, so sometimes he would say, when he was teaching, suppose he said, stretch your knee in Trikonasana. He did not merely ask, did you stretch your knee? But he would ask you, did you know why the knee needs to be stretched? Why the knee should not be bent and why the knee should be stretched in Trikonasana? So you have to understand the why behind everything. You have to understand the how behind everything, and there should be science behind how. Otherwise, you end up doing by hook or crook. Now, that is unscientific. So you need your faculties to really come in to tell you why you are doing a particular action in an asana, why you are doing particular action in a pranayama. Don't just do what you are supposed to do. Understand why it has to be done, why that way it has to be done. So these are discerning practices. And therefore, you will develop the confidence aspect in you and conviction aspect while you practice, while you teach, or while you are learning even. When you are learning, if it is, wherever logic is coming in, if you allow it to come judiciously, wherever reasoning has to come, if you allow it to come judiciously, wherever perception, cognition have to come, you allow them to come judiciously, your practice will give you that confidence, conviction, and the intellectual stability. If you are not sure why you are doing something, if you are not sure why you are doing particular thing in an asana or particular thing in pranayama, you are infirm. If you are infirm, understand what is your law, what is the loss. So while he was practicing, he was also practicing. There was science in his practice. Wherever the science can come. Now, science doesn't come everywhere in life. Some of you might be highly scientific minded, particularly youngsters of our generation. They want to be very, very scientific. You give them a child, their child or grandchild in their hands, they can't handle the child with scientific intelligence. It is a skill to handle a baby. You can't logically handle a baby. There is no logic and reasoning in handling a tender baby. It's a different thing. So everything in life cannot be based on scientificality, if I may say so, logicality, if I may say so. There are so many things which are illogical, beyond logic, so many things beyond our idea of science. Your relationships. You cannot be scientifically tackling your relationships. The science cannot come there if you are handling your relationships. It needs something else. So the life is not fully based on science. Science cannot give solutions to your life. As a matter of fact, science can create only problems in your life. Not only it cannot solve the problems, it will create problems. Anyway, wherever the scientificality, if I may say so, can come in, it should come judiciously. So he took care to see that he is doing scientifically. Not only that, he is teaching scientifically. So do not deduce that when he taught, he was teaching scientifically. When you practice, he overlooked scientificality or scientificness. He did scientifically. He performed, practiced, whatever he did, it was all, there was science behind it. So understand how his practices become discerning. He could identify the cause and effect relationship, cause, effect, consequence relationship. So therefore, he taught with greater assurity. He was assured while he was teaching. He was not saying, oh, try this way, try that way. He taught with conviction. So the conviction came because of wherever science, logic, intellectual process, logical process, reasoning process could come in, he allowed it to come. Well, it to come in. He used it profusely, sufficiently. So it was not only when he thought he was scientist. Scientific process gave him a particular discernment. Certain things can be only discerned by scientific approach. Certain things are only discerned by emotional approach. So that's why he was scientific as well while he practiced. Now, what is the art form? He said, while I perform as an artist. And all of us thought he is only artist while he performs. He was also artist while he was teaching. He was also artist while he was practicing. And that art is very important. See, all of us can learn music. All of us can learn music. Will we all become artists? By learning music, will we all become artists? No. Now, coming to your practical problem, you have difficulties in so many asanas. Why do you have difficulties in so many asanas? So you will give answer, I've got stiff body, I've got steel body, I've got inflexible body, I've got weakness in the body, I get pains here and there by little movement, my body is painful, my body is stiff, therefore I can't do yoga. And you think asanas means something to perfect. By intent practice, diligent practice, you are not identified there is an artisan aspect. You need to be artist basically. If you are an artist, then your endeavor is smoothened and your endeavor can become successful. So in asanas and pranayam, it's a community activity. Body, mind, breath, senses, psyche, consciousness, speech, they should be coordinated. Now it is an art. You have to develop that art. You have to look at it as an art. How will I make a composite activity, collective activity? You have to take together your mind system, breath system, sense system, psyche system, speech system, other systems. You have to take them together in an asana. Now that's an art. We don't identify art. We say practice makes man perfect. And we think we must practice, 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 and we will become perfect. Now, why the asanas are difficult for, particularly when you are in my class, 99% people will say it is very difficult. Not only difficult to execute, but difficult even to understand. It is because we don't look at it as an art. You have to tame your mind system and other systems for you to do an anasana. That's an art. How to take mind with you is an art. How to take the breath system with you is an art. How to take other systems with you is an art. How to go with them is an art. So when it is not that Guruji, when he performed, he was an artist. When he was teaching, he was an artist. That's why many of the students said, when Guruji, you make us do, we get it. When we try on our own, we don't get even 10%. He had the knack and skill to put you into position. If you try to go to that position on your own, it would be heavy taxation. You would pay a lot of tax in the form of pain, discomfort, and then get it. With Guruji's hand, he had knack and skill. He easily put you into the position. So we don't look at asana pranayam as an art form, and therefore we at times might conclude it's very difficult. Because to make a composite activity, to go for composite dynamics, collective dynamics like body, mind, breath, system, psyche, consciousness, it is an art. So while Guruji was practicing, they were all becoming very, very wieldy and yielding. When you do your asana, the mind doesn't yield, or your body is not wieldy, therefore you have difficulty. Now try to go this way. Let me try to understand if there is an art whereby the body becomes more wieldy or less unwieldy. That's why many times we say exhale and do. When you exhale and rotate, you rotate easily. Say things. So the art aspect has to be brought in there. The skill aspect has to be brought in there. It is not just ability. Don't think this is all ability display. It is skill display. how to do the orchestration for an asana, orchestration of body, mind, breath, and other system, how to orchestrate them. Now that is a knack, that is a skill, and even in Guruji's practice, he was an artist. So if you burn, say, 500 calories for particular position, he would not burn even single calorie, but would ingest calorie by doing the pose. So if I say 50 Urdhva Dhanurasana, if I say 50 Urdhva Dhanurasana, you will say, I burnt up calories. 50 Urdhva Dhanurasana, I burnt so many calories. At the dining table, you ingest calories. You know that? At the dining table, you ingest calories. You eat calories. On the mat, you burn calories. Guruji also got on the mat. Instead of burning the calories, he ingested calories. Now that is skill. He made his asana as a nourishment. You do your asanas and you become dead hungry, and no sooner the class is over, you want to munch something. No sooner the class is over, you want to munch something. But someone like Guruji, while on the mat, he would be ingesting calories, so there is no need for him to, after this practice session, go and munch something, eat something. I know many of the teachers, after teaching the class, they say, energy dissipation. I should take some energy drink. I have taught the class. Energy is run down. While when Guruji taught, he gained energies. This is skill. It is an art. So you go for mountaineering or hill climbing, you know how much you exhaust yourself. But one who is used to that doesn't get that much exhausted. It is not only capacity, there is a skill. He coordinates his act of climbing with the breath, and therefore he economizes, and it is all skill. How Sherpa scales Himalayas and how the commoners go there and climb up. The commoners go there and they go push, 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 push and climb up. The Sherpas easily scale up because they have coordination, they have skill, they have knack. So in asanas, we don't try to develop the skills, we don't try to develop the knacks. We want to just struggle, 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 struggle and get it. So in formative period, Guruji did struggle. But he was not struggling for his Urdhva Dhanurasana for his those 85 years of practice. Maybe earlier 5 years he practiced, he struggled. He burned lots of calories to get his Urdhva Dhanurasana, to get his expected desired Urdhva Dhanurasana. If you try to go for your expected desired Urdhva Dhanurasana, you burn 10 times more calories and you just collapse on your back with a whoosh. Why does this happen? So the art form aspect was very much there in his practice. Whereas the common man thinks from Guruji's statement, while he was performing, he was artist. What was the art? Beautiful, graceful movements. Beautifully choreographed series of asanas performed. So it was only a spectacle for us. And then we say it was an art. What was Guruji's demonstration? Was it an art for a blind person in the auditorium? Was it art for a blind person in an auditorium? It was only spectacular art or spectacle art form. In music, you have auditory art form. In a music concert, you have auditory art form. You identify the art, you appreciate the art by your ears, not by your eyes. So how was the art in his teaching? Anybody taught 10% of Guruji's class, the teacher would be dead duck. And you think this is energy. He was more energetic. If you and me try to teach 10% of his class, we are dead ducks. No doubt he had energies, but he had skill. How to take a class, how to conduct the class, so that exertion is kept at bay, running down energy conditions kept at bay. So while he was teaching, he was also an artist. An artist in getting you people under his influence. So his students came under his influence, not that Guruji was exceptionally handsome man in the world, but he was charismatic. Charismatic, not because of the appearance form, but his presence. The energy radiation was charismatic. People were drawn because of the energy radiation that came from him. Guruji was not as beautiful as Narcissus, that the people would be bewitched at him. So that was an art. Handling one-to-one in a class and handling 1,000 people in a class, he had those arts. Whereas now we people are on such conditions that suppose we are used to a class of 40 members, on a day, 20%, only 10 people are present, we lose the motivation. So many people absent. Because we don't get motivated unless the class is full, unless the usual number is there. But suppose for some reason, 80% of students are absent in a class, the teachers lose the motivation. Guruji took that as an advantage. Okay, there are only 20% students. He took this different way, the advantage different way, to take a class of 20% present students, 80% absent students. Other professional teachers, those are in business of teaching, they will say, just kill the time. All of you, just follow the class. I will do Shirshasana, you do Shirshasana. I will do standing poses, you do standing poses. Follow me. They lose the motivation. It did not matter for Guruji whether there are fewer people than usual or full quorum or overflowing quorum, more than expected. That really did not matter. He adjusted to every condition because he had the art. He had the art to teach children. I concede, I don't have that art. Teaching children, teaching teenagers, teaching young ones, teaching adults, teaching old ones, teaching strong ones, teaching weak ones. How many teachers have the disposition to teach indisposed people mentally and indisposed physically? He was so creative that did not bother. There is a big difference between conducting a children class and conducting a class of senior citizens, very senior citizens, 75 plus, and children 15 minus. Big difference. He was spirited, motivated to any kind of class. He had the art to handle innocent children and concretized adult ones, flexible children to inflexible adults and old people. That's an art. The point is, when he was practicing, there was an art because he handled his all the systems very skillfully. Whereas, why do you struggle? Because you can't handle your mind system, speech system, breath system. You cannot orchestrate, and that's why you have problems. So, because we don't look at it as an art, we have to develop that as an art. Then my classes won't be as difficult as they appear to you. Because it's not you have not developed the art, you think I'm expecting too much. Attend to body, attend to mind, attend to senses, attend to breath, attend to psyche, attend to consciousness, cognitive act, sensitive act, perceptive act. I tell you so many acts. And then you say, well, it is unwieldy, it is difficult. It is because you do not try to look at it as an art form. So as I said, everyone learns music, everyone doesn't become artist. So everyone learning yoga doesn't become artist. But if you are a student, genuine student, and if you want to pursue the authentic subject of yoga, you will have to look at it as an art form. So art will mitigate your endeavor. Art will you create appeal in your endeavor. It will be appealing for you to do. It is not only appealing for someone to see. Now, Guruji was when I was practicing, when he said, when I practice, it is not he was inviting people, come and watch my practice. That only happened in later period after the institute came. Otherwise, when Guruji was practicing, was closing the doors and practicing. So it was not something appealing to others. That he practiced was appealing to the others for them to cite his practice. So his endeavor became appealing to himself. His endeavor became appealing to body system, breath system, mind system. Many times your endeavor is not appealing to body system, therefore it rebels. Your endeavor is not appealing to mind system, therefore it rebels. Your endeavor is not appealing to breath system, therefore it rebels. It revolts. It is an art that has to be developed. So the composite collective dynamics of asanas, you have to look at it not as a science, but as an art. So while Guruji was practicing, there was art aspect very much in him. What the art did, what the art does, one thing is that either it is enjoyable, delightful, or it economizes the efforts. Art can do two things, is to economize your energy allocations. You will do in a lesser energy, that's an art. Rather than spending energy, you will generate energy, it's an art. So art is not just performing art, that it must be appealing to others, it should be liked by others. So suppose I tell you, close your door and practice. Are you going to consider, is my practice going to be appealing? Because you are practicing behind closed doors. What is the art form? That you must economize on the labor, energy inputs. You have to economize. That's the first step. Secondly, you must be able to generate energies. The better artist you are, you will generate energies rather than spending energies. So all of you end your asana session, you say exhausted, tired, and fatigued. And that is why your practice doesn't exceed 1 hour or 90 minutes. But Guruji generated energies, which is an art form. It is not a science that he creates a generator in the belly, generator in the lungs, generator in the spine, and energy generated. It's an art form. So today I wanted to tell you about those two dimensions, why he practiced, what was the role of being scientific. Wherever the logic, reasoning, analysis, perceptive, cognitive, rational processes can come, he allowed them to come sumptuously, availed of those sumptuously. There are certain regions where they don't work. That he realized the science stays here. Science doesn't come here. Science can be spoiler. There are so many kinds of sciences. What kind of science is there in, say, in your asana pranayama? Is it a physical science? Is it a social science? What kind of science? Now you have 300 trillion cells in your body. It's highly populous. Embodiment is highly populous of cells. Global population is only 7.5 billion. Global population is 7.5 billion. And the cellular population in everybody's body is multi-hundred trillions. So understand the dimension of the society. So it is a social art. It is social science. It is emotional science. Today we are only obsessed by physical sciences. Science means physical science. That is the science for inert matter, non-living matter. But we have so many sciences: physical science, emotional science, spiritual science, emotional science. So every kind of science will be there in your asana pranayama. More pronounced is something that is not physical science. Physical science will come in a small dosage, like your side dish in a plate. So Guruji was a social scientist, spiritual scientist, emotional scientist, religious scientist. They're all shastras, they're all sciences, they're all called shastras, therefore they are sciences. So now ponder over these, the statement of Guruji and whatever input I have given to you. How he was philosopher, scientist, artist while he practiced. Philosopher, scientist, artist when he taught. Philosopher, scientist, artist when he practiced. Every aspect came in. It's a composite. Yoga is the integral process. It's an integral process of everything. It's not that something is only art and something is only science. With regards to our own embodiment, every aspect comes in some way or the other, and it's a blend. They are gelled together, they get unified, they become prismatic. The process is prismatic or rainbow dynamics. Every facet comes in there. So look at your practice as an art as well. You are very scientific in asana, and therefore you don't get something to relish. But if you make it an art there, art has something always to be relished. Art is never dry. Science is dry. So anyway, I wanted to open out the statement which I made on Guru Purnima Day. Now, today I want to pull the shutters down. You ponder over it. You have to cook the matters that you have received, cook the matters, and then come back to me. If at all you want to come back. Okay. Thank you very much. Namaskar, all of you.